Soaking wet and desperate to survive, the man used a knife to slice open a bullet. But instead of gunpowder, all that spilled out were a few drops of river water. Shivering uncontrollably from the cold, Bruce had no choice but to pull out another bullet. He knew that if the rest were ruined like this one, he wasn't making it out alive. Fortunately, the second bullet hadn't been affected by the water. He poured the gunpowder onto a wooden stump. Battling the biting cold of -20 degrees, he broke nearby branches into short pieces and laid them next to the powder. Then, he grabbed another bullet, picked up his knife, and began hammering the base of the bullet. But with his body trembling so violently, he couldn't focus. Bruce knew that if he didn't act fast, he'd freeze into a human popsicle. He kept telling himself to stay calm. Steadying the bullet, he pressed the knife against its base, then grabbed a rock and started pounding on the knife handle. After some effort, a warm flame began to flicker. Needing both heat and a way to treat his gunshot wound, he stripped off his soaked coat and took a long swig from his flask. Using the remaining alcohol, he poured it straight onto the wound. The moment it hit, the searing pain exploded through his entire body. Once the alcohol had disinfected the wound, he picked up a strip of cloth, rolled it into a ball, shoved it into his mouth, and bit down hard. Then he wiped the ice and snow off his blade, and without hesitation, stabbed the knife into the wound. After a bit of digging, he finally pried the bullet out. Though the pain had him gritting his teeth, Bruce didn't stop. He plunged his nose and mouth into the fire for warmth, then bit down on the cloth again and held the knife to the wound one last time to cauterize it. The intense pain overwhelmed him. He collapsed, briefly losing consciousness. Meanwhile, the bounty hunter on his trail was closing in. As the fire gradually dimmed, Bruce slowly regained consciousness in the bitter cold. Realizing the danger, he grabbed his clothes and ran deep into the forest. But then, he doubled back, hoping to confuse his pursuer by leaving footprints in multiple directions. Finally, he swept his escape path clean with a branch. Under a tree, he realized this trick was just buying him time. If he really wanted to escape, he had to take the hunter out. Looking up at the massive tree, he suddenly had an idea.